Caesar Kleberg is a giant in the world of Texas wildlife conservation. He was born in Cuero, Texas in 1873 and passed away in 1946. During most of his adult life, Caesar was an integral part of the King Ranch family. He spent the majority of his time at the Norris division of King Ranch near Raymondville, Texas. It was there that Caesar developed a deep appreciation for the wildlife populations of South Texas and the habitats that support them. He understood, perhaps better than anyone at the time, that conservation was essential for sustaining the wildlife resources that many other people took for granted. Caesar Kleberg was a man who was ahead of his time. He knew that information based on science was the key to developing effective wildlife conservation programs and policies. He was the first to implement wildlife conservation policies, such as hunting regulations that limited bags and seasons in South Texas on King Ranch. His vision was to sustain and enhance the wildlife of South Texas. That vision continues to this day. The Caesar Kleberg Foundation for Wildlife Conservation was created in Caesar's will. The Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute was created in 1981 to be a living testament to Mr. Caesar's vision. The Institute is the concrete realization of Caesar's wildlife conservation legacy. The vision of the trustees of the Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Foundation has fostered the growth and development of the Institute, creating what is now the leading wildlife research organization in Texas and one of the most respected university wildlife programs in the nation. The primary trait that underpins the Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute is a devotion to conducting applied wildlife research with a focus on South Texas. The applied research model allows the Institute to provide relevant science that can be used by managers, hunters, ranchers, and other conservationists to sustain and enhance wildlife populations and their habitats. South Texas is a unique ecological region. The focus and regional priority of the Institute is South Texas, and more than 90% of research projects take place here. As opposed to many other university wildlife programs that focus heavily on conservation biology and the non-consumptive use of wildlife, Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute's research focus is primarily on game species because of our strong support of conservation practices that go hand in hand with the hunting and ranching heritage of the region. At the same time, however, we also conduct research on threatened and endangered species and other non-hunted species. As a master's and PhD program, Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute graduate students come from all over North America and many other parts of the world to learn how to conduct wildlife research. The exclusive opportunities offered to Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute graduate students allow them to not only excel in the field of wildlife research, but by having the freedom to conduct research on private lands, they graduate with a newfound appreciation for private landowners. Private landowners produce the backbone of financial support for Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute. They are especially motivated and passionate about the work the Institute does and the impact it has had and continues to have across South Texas. As graduate students move into their professional careers, Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute has a profound impact throughout the wildlife profession. Whether working for private or government agencies or educating the next generation of wildlife conservationists in school classrooms across the state, Mr. Caesar's legacy lives on, far beyond the borders of South Texas. If it is a species of wild animal that walks or flies somewhere in South Texas, the odds are that a scientist at Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute has probably studied it. If not, you can be sure that there is probably a plan to study it in the future. Our research programs focus on upland game birds such as quail, turkeys, and doves. We also focus on white-tailed deer. Deer are of huge interest to hunters in South Texas, and therefore they are of huge interest to us. The wild cats of South Texas, especially the endangered ocelot, receive major research attention as well. Native plants and native habitats are a theme that cuts across many research projects at Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute. This has become especially important given the ongoing threats from the expansion of invasive grasses over the years. The processes that affect these habitats, such as prescribed fire and drought, are also important research topics for us. Coastal wetlands, waterfowl ecology and management, and bird migration have become prominent research topics, especially in light of wind energy development and other threats to coastal areas that have emerged during recent years. Finally, wildlife health, especially from the standpoint of impacts of disease and parasites and livestock-wildlife interactions, has become a growth area in our research program. All of the scientists at Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute believe that science without publication is recreation. Therefore, we take the business of publication very seriously. Since 1982, Institute scientists have produced 24 books, with at least 3 more currently in preparation. More than 800 peer-reviewed articles written by Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute scientists and graduate students have appeared in scientific journals that are published around the world. More than 500 articles for the popular literature, such as magazines and newsletters, have been written by Institute scientists. Every one of these books and articles has at least one thing in common. Each one has Caesar Kleberg's name and the address on the author's byline. His legacy lives on, and it lives on around the world. Educating and inspiring the next generation of wildlife professionals is also one of the most important things that we do. Students who leave Caesar Kleberg Wildlife Research Institute go on and accomplish great things for wildlife across the globe. They become leaders in the wildlife profession. They continue Caesar's vision.